Okay, the next point. Put your students' needs, put your child's needs before your own, please. Again, this comes to that whole sense of expectation. You know, you've taken on this role of a parent or a teacher, so it's really to lead your children. You'll get the satisfaction when they reach that goal, right? Or the satisfaction of just trying to teach them, right? But you have to put their needs before yours, right? And that's really important. Like the father wanted to go drag the son. He wanted his messengers to go just drag the son. In the previous video we saw, the father thought, oh, I'll just go in and, I'm physically fit, I'll just carry my kids out. They're just rolling dice anyway, I'll just carry them out of the fire. But he realized, so you have to put the needs of your children and students before your own. Okay, no expectations, right? Some people are going to learn it in a day, some people are going to learn the lesson in a week, some people are going to learn the lesson in a month. And as we saw in this story, sometimes it's going to take 50 years, right? We have to stop thinking about timelines, right? It's like, we all have that sense of expectation. We hear friends or, kids complaining over and over. However, we have a friend, they complain over and over the same problem, But, because we're on a timeline, we lose patience. But we can't, right? Because everybody's on their own time, right? Time is so relative. Right? There is no fixed time. Again, some people are going to get it right away, and that's what this story in the Lotus Sutra is teaching us. Even if it takes 50 years, even if it takes another lifetime, as long as you as a teacher or as a parent know that you did your best, right? And then maybe it's not this lifetime, maybe it's next lifetime, but it doesn't mean you become fatalistic. It doesn't mean you stop trying, right? You're still going to keep trying. You're still going to keep trying to find different ways, but you're not going to have expectation. I like to say it's anticipation. You're not expectation. Anticipation is hopeful. Anticipation is, you're thinking it's going to happen, but there's no expectation on the other person. That's not Buddhism. It's not a Buddhist teaching. But anticipation, being hopeful, keep trying. Okay. Point 5, patience. We've already discussed that. 50 years. Just think about that. Every time you tell your kid to clean his room, every time you give your student homework and they keep messing it up, just remember patience. Patience. Just remember 50 years. The father took 50 years to get his son before his son could step up the plate and inherit his business. Just remember that. Okay. Be willing to jump in the hole, right? Just as the father in the story, when he assigned, he had the actually, because the son didn't even know who he was yet, so he had the son jump in. So he had the son assigned, to go into the excrement pit and start shoveling it out. I really have no concept of what that even looks like, except something like from Slumdog Millionaire, from that movie, with the outhouses. So maybe it was they had to clean the outhouses, I can't think of anything more disgusting, And here's this wealthy man, and he assigns it to his son because, it's hard work. And, the son at that point in the story, that's the kind of work he needed to do. Just, jump in, don't think, and just get it done. As disgusting as it might be, it's good honest work, just do it. But here's the father, wealthy. He didn't have to do it, but he wanted to get to know his son better, right? So, he took off his expensive clothing, and he went in there and worked side by side with his son, so he could learn more about his son, and the son still didn't know who he was, but he, the father wanted to learn more about this person, so he jumped into the pit with him, and that's very, very important. Are we there, in those tough times for our kids? Are we there, even if they screw up, even if they're, in a dung pit, are we there with them, Very, very important. And actually, the next point, the 7th point, just as important as jumping into the hole is knowing when not to jump into the hole. Right? There are some times where they need to flounder on their own. They need to work through something, and that takes a lot of wisdom. Right? There's a story. If the egg falls out of the nest, onto this grass, should you, open up the shell if you see the bird, the little chick trying to crack through the egg. I think, our sense of compassion, immediately we want to rush over, and help it. But it's actually that struggle to break through, like a newborn, newborn human baby, gasping for that first breath, clears the lungs. Same thing, the little bird, the little chick has to break through the egg. That's what gives it that strength to then take its breath, and grow into a living creature, And so we have to know when, even though our hearts might be breaking, we have to know when to back out and let the student or the child, learn the lesson on their own. And it's difficult. I'm not saying it's easy, but, we have to, that's where, I use the expression, we have to rack our brains. We have to, untirelessly start thinking, okay, I want to rush in. Is this the right time to rush in? As a Buddhist, I chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. At those times is when I chant a lot, for the wisdom, and the life condition to know, the right course of action. And then to be in rhythm, because a lot of times I don't get the answer, and then I just take some kind of action, and, usually with good results. So, that's important also, to have, that confidence, in your faith, to have confidence in your spiritual path, and to have that kind of life condition, that you're going to stick to that path. And then I think, as the story says, so say, you did all this chanting, you did all this meditation, you did all this praying, and then you take some kind of action and it turns out to be the wrong action. Maybe it even made the situation worse. Okay, so admit it. And then take a step back, find a different way. Take a different action. Go back. Ground yourself. Pray, chant, meditate, whatever. Ground yourself, and then take another, and keep trying. And not just, the same thing time and time and time again, but, think of a different way. Study, read, look, talk to other people, join a support group, whatever. Find a different way. Find a way that might work. Jump in the hole. Spend some time with your kids. Spend some time with your students. Find a different way that this time might work, right? So it's okay if it doesn't work. That's, again, the wisdom of the Lotus Sutra showing us we don't have to be perfect, but we just have to keep trying. So that's really, really important. And so now the final point, and I think you could see how this is the culminating point. Never spare any effort, right? So if you've accepted the role of a teacher, right, and if you've accepted the role of a parent, which, sometimes we accept the role of the parent, it's a little, we might not always, realize we're accepting the role of being a parent. But if we have accepted the role of a parent, and if we've accepted the role of a teacher, right, we have to really take that seriously and never spare any effort. And that's what the Buddha is showing us. Here's this wealthy man, he really doesn't need his son, but, he accepted that role to be his father. And over time realized that he needed to do a better job, right? And so that's what he's doing. And now, at this point, he's able not to spare any effort and to really follow through, okay? So, to repeat the 8 points, okay? So, keep finding new ways to teach. Know your student or child. Put the needs of your student or child before your own. No expectations. Patience. Be willing to jump in the hole. Know when to not jump in the hole. And never spare any effort. Okay? So those are 8 important points. We should take it as a blueprint for how to teach our children, how to teach our students. As the wisdom of the Lotus Sutra, that's from chapter 4. And so again, I thank you. My name is Ned Robinson. Tuesday nights on Blog Talk Radio, 10:30, or visit my website at reikilotus.com. And I have all these videos posted there, and they're posted on YouTube. Leave a comment. Love to hear what you have to say. I'll answer everybody. We can have a great discussion, and I'll see you soon.